I've been playing Overwatch 2 every day for about 3 weeks now, and I love it. Up until recently, Valorant was the only FPS game I had ever played, and well, pretty much all I will play every single day. Don't get me wrong, I will play other games here and there, but they were mostly story games like Pokemon, Zelda, Elden Ring, and some other online multiplayer games with my friends here and there. Games like Devour, Genshin Impact, and Gold with your friends. But ultimately, I will always end up coming to Valorant. I was addicted. I will play the game every single night. I will see my friends play other FPS multiplayer games like Destiny 2, Apex Legends, and Call of Duty Cold War. After a while, I wanted to join them and try these games for myself. After all, if I like Valorant this much, it was a given that I would like other FPS multiplayer games, right? Well, I was wrong. After trying out Apex Legends and Destiny 2, I just could not get into them. I'm not sure if it was the difference in shooting mechanics or the design of the game itself, but I was so used to Valorant since it was the only FPS game I had ever played up until now, and because the games were so different, I just couldn't get into them. So, after playing them once or twice, I stopped and once again went back to Valorant. It got to a point where Valorant was taking up all of my free time and really was the only game I would play. It was no surprise that after a while I started getting burned out of the game. It felt like I was just mostly playing it just to play it and wasn't really having as much fun with it as I used to. Really, the only times I will actually have fun with it was when I will play with friends. There were even times when I will open up the game, play a few matches, stop, and just leave it on while I laid in bed scrolling through TikToks and YouTube videos. During this, I tried playing other games as well. Valorant was the only game I was constantly playing. Because of this, my backlog of games had grown to an insane amount, and well, I thought it was about time I started playing these games instead of, well, letting them collect dust. But it was the same thing every time. I will launch a game, play it for an hour or less, put it down, and go back to once again playing Valorant. It felt like it was a cycle that will never end. No matter what, no matter how hard I tried, I will always end up coming back to Valorant. No game could satisfy me. At least that's how I felt at the time. I felt like no game could satisfy me enough to keep on playing that way Valorant did. And even then, I don't know what kept me going back to Valorant. There was just something about it that just kept me going back to it. And I wanted to stop that. Then, a little game called Overwatch 2 came out. I had previously heard of it when it was announced, but never really cared much for it, as I never really played Overwatch, and based on my experiences with trying other FPS games, I had a feeling I just wasn't going to get into this one either. So, after a bit of hesitation, I finally downloaded it. But even then, I didn't start playing it until days later because, well, once again, I didn't think I would really get into this game, and the same thing that happened with Destiny 2 and Apex will repeat itself, and I would just end up coming back to Valorant. But from the moment I played it, to my surprise, I was hooked. There was so much going on the screen all at once. Everyone constantly moving and shooting, stuff flying everywhere, people falling off the map.
Okay.
There was a lot to take in at once. And for some reason, I loved it. I'm not sure what it was different about this game than the other games I had tried, but something about it just hooked me.
Are you kidding me, freaking Roadhog?
It had been a while since the game had made me want to just, well, play it. I hadn't had the feeling I wanted to constantly play a game like this since Valorant. Needless to say, I was excited, and this made me want to get better at the game. However, since Valorant had been the only FPS game I had played, it meant that I had to get used to the mechanics in Overwatch, especially the shooting. You see, unlike in Valorant, I couldn't stand still to shoot and get a clear shot as there was no recoil in Overwatch. You see, in Valorant, in order for your shots to go where you want them to go, you must try and have little to no movement as well as tap fire, since bursting your gun also creates a lot of recoil. This is very different in Overwatch, since your shots will always hit where your crosshair is, regardless of how much you move or how much you burst. So, contrary to Valorant, in Overwatch you want to constantly keep moving and shooting since standing still makes you an easy target. Also, in Overwatch, you never really run out of bullets, so there's no need to keep in mind how many bullets are left in your gun. You see, in Valorant, every gun has a certain amount of bullets that once you run out of it, there's 0 bullets in that gun and you can use it anymore. You have to find a new gun or switch guns. Unlike in Overwatch, where all the guns have essentially an infinite amount of bullets. You still have to reload, but you don't have to worry about your cartridge essentially running out of bullets. Then there's the movement mechanics. Unlike Valorant, there's no walking in Overwatch. Everyone is always moving at the same speed unless an ability that increases speed is used. Overall, there were a lot of differences between both games that I needed to get used to. I had to change a lot of habits I had developed over my time of playing Valorant and become used to new ones. Because of this, I started looking up videos on how to get better at the game, as well as asking some of my friends who had been playing since Overwatch 1 stuff about each character or, well, hero, to see who could fit my playstyle better and ask them for tips that could potentially help me improve. Then, one night, while playing with my good friend Steven, he happened to mention that Genji and Hanzo are brothers. This really intrigued me. I hadn't really thought much about each hero's origin, as all I had been focusing on was improving. After I found out about this, I asked other friends about it, and they told me that each hero had their own origin story, and that Blizzard had actually made cinematics showing these origins. As a recently newfound fan of the game, I wanted to know more about these heroes. I wanted to know the story of what, well, led to Overwatch. So naturally, I watched all the cinematics with my friends, and some of them who had been diehard fans since the first game went into more detail about these cinematics. The more I learned about and more I played the game, the more I was falling in love with it. And this made me think about all those other games I hadn't truly tried to play because of all my time in Valorant. This really made me reminisce about my childhood. You see, I feel like back then I truly loved and appreciated video games for what they were. I remember from the first time I picked up and played my first ever game and just dived into it and played it for hours and hours without noticing. I was just having fun. This little game was called The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And from the moment I woke up to my very first boss fight to riding my horse in the open field, everything felt magical. The fact that I had control over every action the character on the screen would make was something truly amazing. From that point on, I wanted to play more games. And so, I did. I would play games every chance I got, but they were all solo games since I was always intrigued by a good story, and because of this, multiplayer games never really got my attention. I feel like during this time, every game I played made me fall in love with video games all over again. I mean, each one had their own story to tell. This continued on for years. Then, in 2021, I decided to get my first PC. You see, up until then, I was a console gamer and never really saw the need for a PC, I originally got the PC for school and, well, to make YouTube videos, since I had always wanted to record and upload videos like the content creators I would watch since I was a kid. However, there was a problem. Because I had never done anything like this, I had no idea that I needed an adapter to record footage from my console to my PC. So, I decided to look into PC games. That's when I stumbled upon this little game called Valorant, which it was new at the time and a lot of content creators were playing it. So, I decided I will give it a try myself and see whether I liked it or not. And well, you guys know the story from there. I became addicted, stopped paying attention to games I used to play, and I stopped caring about the ones that I had been really looking forward to playing. When I started thinking about all of this, I realized how much Valorant had changed me as a gamer. While it had opened me up to new things like meeting people online and becoming friends with them, to having something that you could lose or win by playing the game, like the rank system, it also kind of took me away from the things I loved as a gamer since, well, I was a kid. Of course, the game itself is not to blame. I'm the one to blame because I couldn't stop playing it. I don't know what it is. I couldn't stop. Especially because I had never really met people online. This also made me really excited. And I wanted to meet more people. I wanted to meet more people that I could play with. I became really excited about the fact that I could play with people. I could play games with people. I never really thought about it before because, again, I will only play story games. But once I started playing with more and more people, I realized how fun it is. How fun it is to play with other people. I never really had experienced anything like this other than playing couch co-op games with some friends, but even then we had to be in the same location and that was not always possible. So the idea of being able to play with them without having to be in the same location and pretty much every night really made me happy. It made me want to play more and, well, make memories with them. When I started having this feeling of wanting to move on from Valorant and playing other games, I started noticing one of my friends who will put hours and hours on every game that he will play, and frankly, this made me jealous because it really made me reminisce of when I was a kid, and I wanted to go back to that and, well, be like him. Tyler, if you're watching this, I want to thank you for also, well, helping me realize how much Valorant had changed me as a gamer. Watching you enjoy and truly play every game that you started made me realize how much I had changed over my time of playing Valorant. While it will be hard, I want to go back and truly give all these games I missed out on a try and, well, really play them and enjoy them like I used to. This doesn't mean I'll stop playing Valorant or Overwatch 2 by any means. I still plan on playing them as I do enjoy them and I like to play them with my friends and all, but I'll try not to play them as much from now on and, well, dedicate more time to the games I miss out on. Who knows? Maybe now I'll really conquer the backlog. I guess you could say the video should really be titled something along the lines of how Overwatch 2 made me realize how much Valorant changed me as a gamer because, well, it's true. But at the end of the day, no matter what kind of games you might enjoy, whether it be multiplayer, solo, or mobile games, I think we can all agree on that games really are amazing. And we probably won't be the people that we are today without them. Thank you for those of you who listen until the end, and remember, no matter what kind of games you enjoy, at the end of the day, we're all gamers. That is something that connects all of us. Have a great morning, day, or night, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.